Upon arriving at the bustling marketplace, Alara found herself captivated by the vibrant array of stalls. Rohan, her loyal companion, skillfully navigated through the throngs of people, his gaze fixed on a distant banner. Meanwhile, Lyra, ever the curious one, lingered by a spice merchant, her senses overwhelmed by the exotic aromas. Suddenly, a shriek pierced the air, and Kalen, the youngest of the group, stumbled, nearly tripping over a loose cobblestone. Orion, with his quick reflexes, steadied him, his expression one of calm concern. They continued their journey, a motley crew united by friendship and a shared purpose, their adventure just beginning. Lena asked me, if you fail the conquest mission, will you be erased? I told her no. She let out a sigh of relief and said, Kenji is a conqueror too. If he fails to win me over, he'll die, so I agreed to marry him. Let's cancel our engagement. I hesitated for a moment, then nodded in agreement. I didn't tell her I'm the one losing the mission, but the punishment for failure is death for her. At Lena's birthday party, in front of all her family and friends, I got down on one knee and proposed to her. The system detected her affection level toward me had reached 89%. Deeply in love, just a bit more, and it would hit 90%, steadfast and loyal. The system was pleased. It's another step closer to mission success. If nothing goes wrong, her affection will soon reach 100%, willing to live and die for you. I smiled slightly and opened the ring box, the large diamond sparkling brilliantly. Lena's eyes welled up with tears from excitement. Her fingers trembled as I slipped the ring on. Then, with a dull thud, her assistant, Kenji, suddenly collapsed. In the next instant, the ring slipped from my fingers. Just as it was about to touch hers, it fell. It rolled on the ground a few times, trampled and kicked by several people. Eventually, it vanished among the chaotic crowd, nowhere to be found. I looked at Lena almost instinctively. She rushed forward and caught Kenji's body steadily. Kenji convulsed in her arms, eyes rolled back, and passed out. I had never seen Lena look so panicked. She shook his body. Kenji, wake up. Don't scare me, please. I sighed and knelt down, placing my hand on her shoulder. I tried to calm her down. I'm a doctor. Let me examine him. Only then did Lena come back to her senses and hand Kenji over to me. After checking, I said, he's fine. How could he be fine? He fainted. Lena was so anxious she couldn't even trust my words. I said helplessly, if you really don't feel assured, take him to the hospital. As soon as Lena heard that, she didn't say a word, just had someone carry Kenji out of the hotel. She placed him in the back seat. Her hands trembled as they gripped the steering wheel. I said, let me drive instead. Lena's eyes immediately turned red, and she looked at me gratefully. Thank you, hero. I took her hand in mine. It was icy cold. No need to thank me. I'm your fiancé, after all. Her body stiffened slightly. She quietly withdrew her hand without making a fuss. She avoided my gaze and said softly, just drive. At that moment, the system's voice rang out suddenly. Warning. Lena's affection level for you has dropped sharply to 79%. I frowned and looked at Lena. She was staring worriedly at Kenji in the back seat. At the hospital, Lena ran after Kenji's stretcher, chasing all the way into the emergency room. After the doctors examined him, they said it wasn't anything serious, just a bit of physical exhaustion. Lena didn't believe them and insisted on having Kenji admitted. After I returned from paying the hospital fees, I paused just outside the room. Director Sato, I'm fine. I won't die for now. It's just that Hiro proposed to you, and the system punished me with an electric shock. Kenji's voice was weak, yet carried a trace of amusement as he winked at Lena, as if signaling. From this moment forward, things are clear between us. Now do you believe I'm really here to conquer you? Lena lowered her head and helped tuck in his blanket. I already have Hiro. I won't betray him. Then why are you so nervous about me? Director Sato, can you honestly say you didn't feel anything? As a boss, I should care about my subordinates. Besides, I owe you my life. Lena's expression was calm and composed, but I noticed her hands quietly clenched into fists. That's her unconscious habit when she's lying. There was a time when a falling billboard nearly crushed her. Kenji had pushed her out of the way just in time. He was severely injured as a result, requiring dozens of stitches to the forehead, leaving a long scar. Lena offered him money in compensation, but he refused. All he wanted was to stay with the company, to stay by Lena's side. From then on, Lena no longer treated Kenji with cold indifference. Even an iceberg eventually melts. Then you'll owe me for the rest of your life, Kenji said softly. Because the day you marry Hiro will be the day I die. Kenji wore a faint smile the whole time, his eyes filled with certainty. Lena visibly trembled at those words, her face turning a few shades paler. You saved me once. I should save you too. Kenji smiled. Then marry me. I didn't listen any further. I left the hospital alone. Lena came home very late. I was already asleep. She woke me with a cold kiss. You're awake. Lena tried to lie down beside me. I gently pushed her away. Even though we had agreed to no sex before marriage, I never rejected her from lying next to me. Lena was momentarily stunned and asked what was wrong. I heard everything. You and Kenji at the hospital, I said. Lena's expression instantly soured. She replied with a cold mm and sat down at the edge of the bed, saying nothing more. I couldn't tell what she was thinking. The silence in the room was so thick it chilled the heart. At last, Lena spoke, but what she asked was, if a conquest mission fails, will you be erased? With that one sentence, I knew what she had decided. I shook my head, no. Lena let out a breath of relief. So I guessed right, she said to me. You already know Kenji's a conqueror. Because you proposed to me, the system punished him with electric shocks. If he can't win me over, he'll die. But I remember back when you were pursuing me, you never got punished, so I guessed that even if you failed, nothing would happen to you. I nodded. Yeah, my system treats me well, Hiro. Lena lowered her voice. Let's call off our engagement to save Kenji. I agreed to marry him. I gave a slight smile, a little forced. Even though I had guessed the outcome, it still disappointed me. Seeing I didn't respond, Lena added, Don't worry, I love you. The marriage with him is just fake to trick the system. Once the mission is complete and he survives, we can still be together. When that time comes, I'll marry you, okay? I hesitated for a long time, then said with difficulty, What if I told you I'm the one who's failed and there's a price to pay? I can't tell you exactly what that price is, but it's something you can't afford to bear. Lena's face turned cold instantly. What price? Sounds like you couldn't even bother to make something up. Kenji was right. You've always resented the fact that he was also pursuing me. There's no way you'd agree to let me save him. How can you be so cruel? You'd just stand by and watch someone die without lifting a finger. Have you ever thought maybe he was forced to go after me? Seeing how determined Lena was, even resorting to accusing me with harsh words, I sighed and nodded. All right. I didn't tell her I'm the one who lost, but she's the one who will die. After Lena left, I held the engagement ring in my hand for a long time. After leaving the hospital earlier that day, I had gone back to the private room in the hotel where I'd proposed and searched for a long time before I finally found it. The ring had been stomped on and was completely deformed. Its once smooth surface was now scratched beyond repair, couldn't be worn anymore. Grief welled up inside me. Even though it was just a system mission, I had genuinely fallen for her. Lena was beautiful, had a great figure, was talented and kind-hearted. She knew how to be grateful and return favors. She just had a rough life. Her parents died young, and she was raised by her aunt. Her aunt's family was poor too. Sometimes they ate, sometimes they didn't. Life was hard. She only made it through university with a mix of scholarships and loans. After much struggle, she finally succeeded in starting her own business. But then she was diagnosed with late-stage stomach cancer at a young age. Even if I was a god-tier surgeon, I couldn't save her. Fortunately, I had a rescue system. As long as I successfully won Lena over, she wouldn't die. I was so close, just one step away from success. It was such a pity. I let out a sigh. Seeing how upset I was, the system tried to comfort me. Actually, before they officially get married, you still have a chance. I thought for a moment, then asked the system, Can you detect her affection level toward Kenji? System, no. It hesitated, then added, But I did detect her affection level toward you has dropped a little. I sighed. I'm afraid that as her feelings for me drop, her feelings for Kenji are increasing. The system was worried too. If her affection level for Kenji surpasses yours, not even a god can save her. Hiro, you have to take some action. For the next few days, I was working non-stop at the hospital. I could only find time here and there to send messages to Lena. She replied sporadically, sometimes not at all. I didn't even know when Kenji had been discharged from the hospital. A week later, I finally managed to free up some time. I bought a cake and made a full table of Lena's favorite dishes. I even carefully prepared a gift. Then I called her. Lena, it's your birthday today. I specially prepared. Before I could finish, she cut me off coldly. I've got something to do today. I won't be coming. I thought it was work. Her company had always done well, so being busy was normal. But I figured I could go to her office to see her. On her busy birthdays in the past, I'd always celebrated with her like that. Just as I was about to say, "It's okay," I heard Kenji's weak voice through the phone. "Well, can you kiss me? It's for the system's task. I really didn't want to ask you, but I don't want to get shocked." I was instantly overwhelmed with rage. Kenji not only called her, well, like they were that close. Now he wanted her to kiss him. "Lena, don't you dare." The moment I used her full name, she knew I was furious. She lowered her voice and tried to coax me. "Hiro, don't be like this. He and I are just putting on an act." Putting on an act? An act that requires kissing? So if he wants to register your marriage, hold a wedding, or even sleep with you, are you going to go along with that too? Know your place. You're not some low-budget adult film actress. Lena, what nonsense are you talking about? Like I'd ever sleep with him. If you love me, you should trust that I'll keep myself clean. My heart went cold. She didn't deny the possibility of registering for marriage and having a wedding with Kenji. "Lena, I trust you only if you've kept your distance from him from beginning to end, not when you've gotten closer and now even kiss him. Ask yourself, are you really just repaying his life-saving favor?" Under my pressing, Lena flew into a mix of shame and anger. "There's nothing improper between me and him. Your mind is filthy." She hung up furiously. I sat at the table full of now cold dishes and thought for a long time. In the end, I still messaged her. "I remember every word you've ever said. You once told me you wanted me to be with you every birthday. I've worked back-to-back shifts at the hospital for a week just so I could make time to celebrate with you today. But now you're spending your birthday with Kenji. He even wants you to kiss him. How could I not be angry? From where I stand, it feels like you don't need me anymore. Maybe because of the mission, or maybe because I was used to comforting patients. Whenever I argued with Lena, I was always the one to back down first. I also knew that in any relationship, someone had to be the first to yield. I didn't mind being that person because the one who tries to fix things is the one who truly decides whether the relationship lives or dies. I fell asleep waiting on the couch. Lena finally came home. She saw the cake and the table full of dishes. She felt a mix of emotion, some guilt, some genuine warmth. She gently hugged me, resting her chin on my shoulder. "Sorry, Hiro, I came back late." Still groggy, I patted her back. I didn't feel like arguing for now. "It's fine. Let's go cut the cake." Just as I finished reheating the food and lighting the candles, Lena's phone rang. It was Kenji. To reassure me, Lena answered the call right in front of me. "Sorry for disturbing you and Hiro, but I got electrocuted by the system again because I couldn't get you to stay at my place tonight. The system says if you're still not here after midnight, it'll give me the worst shock yet. I really can't take it anymore." "Got it." After hanging up, Lena looked at me, hesitant. "Hiro, do you think maybe I could?" I said no. Lena sighed in frustration. She wrapped her arms around my shoulders and tried to kiss my cheek. I turned my head away. I'm not only a clean freak at work, but the same way in relationships. When her collar shifted slightly, I saw a hickey on her collarbone. She had kissed Kenji. Lena froze for a moment, surprised I rejected her. She rubbed her temples, expression helpless. "My Hiro is such a jealous man. Sorry, I only now understand why you were against me marrying Kenji just to save him. I forgot that you get jealous too, that you worry, that you fear losing me to someone else. I swear to you." Lena raised her right hand with 4 fingers out. "I'll never cross the line. If I ever even think of betraying you, may I meet the worst and unimaginable." Looking at how serious she was, I felt a swirl of emotions. I believed Lena truly loved me. I also believed she had no desire to betray me. But some things were beyond her control. Lena, when you're caught up in something, it's hard to see it clearly. A lot of things aren't in your hands. Do you know your affection level toward me has dropped significantly? Lena's gaze turned cold. She snapped. "Why won't you believe me no matter how much I try to reassure you? What do you want? Kenji to just die? He's a good person, he's innocent." I knew I couldn't reason with her anymore. I had only one move left. "It's either me or Kenji. You can only choose one." Lena gritted her teeth. Why do you have to force me like this? I told you it's just an act to fool the system. Once it's over, I'll still marry you. My choice has always been you. I asked her, have you ever considered the system might not be so easy to fool? You say all this out loud in front of it. Don't you think it knows? Lena paused, surprised. So that's what you're worried about? His system's kind of dumb. It only looks at results. You can relax. I closed my eyes. I knew Lena had made up her mind, but I still wanted to fight for her. Taking a few deep breaths, I said slowly, Lena, I have reasons I can't explain, but please trust me. You can't save Kenji. That have-it-both-ways plan of yours doesn't exist. You can only choose one of us. Lena still didn't believe me. She looked at me like I was a stranger. I didn't think you'd be so narrow-minded. You're a doctor. You've saved so many lives. Why are you willing to let just Kenji die? At this point, there was nothing more to say. I forced myself to hold back the sadness. I spoke as calmly as I could. You should go. Some things are like this. Even if you know the outcome ahead of time, you still can't stop it from happening. All you can do is give it your best, then you'll have no regrets. As Lena left, she stood at the doorway, her back to me, and said coldly, I never said this before, but you constantly checking my affection level like that. It feels like surveillance. It's disgusting. I waved my hand. Don't worry, I won't check anymore. After all, the dead have no affection level. The next day, I wandered the streets alone, drank 3 cups of bubble tea, ate 4 portions of fried chicken, bought 5 watches, and a gaming laptop. Ugh, I still want to eat from that barbecue place. Sigh, looks like we'll have to erase your memory again. The system sighed helplessly. Every time you go through a breakup, you binge eat, binge drink, spend like crazy. You gain weight, and your wallet shrinks. I said, that's the nature of the mission. Once you're emotionally involved, you can't help it. The pain you get often outweighs the happiness. Thankfully, I'm rich enough to spoil myself however I want. As I walked past a bridal shop, I stopped in my tracks. The staff was taking down the suit from the display mannequin. A month ago, I had already planned to propose to Lena. Back when we passed this shop, I had pointed to this exact suit and said to Lena that I'd wear it when we got married. She pinched my arm and joked, Who said I'd marry you? I huffed. Who else could you possibly marry if not me? Never thought that would come true. Lena really wasn't marrying me. I walked into the bridal shop. Can I try on that suit you just took from the display? Sorry, another customer is currently trying it on. You may have to wait a bit. I turned around and saw Kenji walking out of the fitting room, wearing that exact suit. Lena, who was sitting on the sofa nearby, instantly stood up. Her eyes were full of unmistakable affection. You look so handsome in a suit. Kenji grinned smugly. As long as I don't embarrass Director Sato. Lena smiled, of course not. Then she sighed. If Hiro were the one wearing this suit, I bet he'd look even more handsome. Kenji's face darkened immediately. The shop assistants looked confused. She cautiously asked, Wait, you two aren't a couple? Lena, no, it's just for completing a task. The assistant suddenly understood. Oh, being pressured into marriage by elders? Poor guy must be heartbroken. I swear the older generation is so controlling. If you ask me, real love means fighting back. If you give in, it just means you don't love enough. Lena looked awkward and quickly cut her off. How much is the suit? After settling the price, Lena headed to the counter to pay, only to meet my icy gaze. The card in her hand slipped and fell. She looked shocked. Hiro. Expressionless, I turned and walked out. Hiro. Lena rushed to follow me. She'd only taken a few steps before Kenji groaned in pain behind her. Director Sato. It hurts so much. Lena hesitated between me and Kenji. In the end, she turned around and went back. Since I blocked Lena, she sent a cake to the hospital with a card. She used to do this when work kept her from going on dates with me. Now she was busy preparing her wedding with Kenji. She probably thought I was still easy to pacify, that as long as I got a cake and a card, I'd stop being angry. But this time, things were different. I tore up her card and threw it away. Then I wrote another one. Wishing you good health and a speedy recovery. I sent it along with the cake to a 5-year-old girl who had just been discharged after an appendectomy. The girl hesitated to accept it, glancing at the orphanage director who came to pick her up. The director looked troubled too. I smiled and said, Take it. I didn't spend a dime on it, just recycling something that would have gone to waste. Only then did the little girl accept the cake. her face shy but full of joy. As long as Lena didn't get unblocked from my blacklist, she sent me a cake every day, and every day I gave the cake to a discharged patient. One morning, just after I parked my car, Lena blocked my path. Still mad, I shook my head. No, I'm just busy. Don't have time to be mad at anyone. Lena smiled. Don't I know you? That tone, that look, you're obviously mad. Okay, stop being mad already. She suddenly hugged me tight. Leaning into my ear, she muttered, Hero, I really missed you. I called you, but you blocked me. I went to your place, but you changed the door code. We haven't seen each other for days. You never used to ignore me this long. I'm about to marry someone else, even if it's fake. Don't you have anything to say about it? I let out a sarcastic laugh. So now she's the one feeling wronged? If you really missed me, then wait for me at the hospital till my shift ends. I'm on duty today. Let's see how long you can keep this up. Lena looked conflicted, but she didn't say no. Still, by midday, she was gone. A colleague said she got a phone call and just left. The next day, I had just arrived at the hospital office when my colleague, Akira, came over to congratulate me. You and Lena got your marriage certificate? Damn, that was fast. I looked at him confused. What? Akira pulled out his phone and showed me. Turns out last night Lena posted an update about registering for marriage. She'd specifically blocked me from seeing it, but forgot to block Akira. Akira hadn't looked closely at the photo of the marriage certificate and assumed it was me she married. I told him, look again. Akira, puzzled, zoomed in on the photo. Holy SD, that's not you. Weren't you the one who just proposed to her? We broke up. I shrugged. Akira took another look at the men in the picture and suddenly realized. Holy FK. Isn't that the assistant who fainted the other day? No wonder Lena was so worried about him. They must have been hooking up behind the scenes. But seriously, why are they in such a rush to get together so openly at that? Don't tell me the guy's terminally ill or something. I gave a bitter smile. Close enough. Then I explained to Akira how Kenji would die if he couldn't win over Lena. Akira said they should carve Lena into the Leshan giant Buddha. I couldn't help giving Akira a thumbs up. After a full day of work at the hospital, I finally saw the wedding invitation Kenji had sent me. Hero, I thought about it and figured I should inform you so there's no misunderstanding. Please don't be upset. Director Sato only agreed to this fake marriage to save me. The certificate and wedding ceremony are both real. The wedding is scheduled for next Saturday. Hope you can come. I put my phone down and asked the system, when will it officially count as a failed mission? The system replied, on the day of the wedding. I frowned. But they've already registered their marriage. Doesn't that mean I've already lost? The system chuckled slyly. Call it my little selfish wish. Lena will relapse with cancer halfway through the wedding. By then, she'll have no choice but to beg you to save her, crying her heart out. I shook my head helplessly. The system really couldn't bear to see me suffer, not even a little. I screenshotted Kenji's message and sent it to Lena. Congratulations. I'll be there on time. Lena replied confused. I told him not to tell you. Hero, please believe me. Everything is just a system task. It's all just acting. I replied bluntly. High-level performances from 2 underground superstars. On May Day, I received a gift sent by Lena. It was a cheap-looking tie clip, like some kind of freebie, with a card that read, Hero, I'm busy today and can't spend the holiday with you. I know you won't actually break up with me. You're just being possessive. Kenji reminded me to buy you a gift. He also says sorry and hopes for your forgiveness. Not long after, I saw a post from Kenji. Got a gift today, super happy. Attached photo, a wristwatch. I listed the tie clip on a second-hand platform along with the engagement ring from before. I also put up a few other gifts Lena had given me in the past. Then I donated all the money to an orphanage. Soon after, I got a call from Lena. You sold everything I gave you. I answered flatly. Yeah, throwing it out would have been a waste. Keeping it as an eyesore, might as well sell it and donate the money. Lena didn't understand. You're this mad? I replied, I'm not mad. I'm just saying goodbye to the past. That's when Lena realized I was serious. After I hung up, she came to my apartment that night, stood downstairs, and yelled for me to open the door. I ignored her. She shouted up, Hero, open the door. I want to talk to you face to face. It's raining. It's cold. Do you really want to see me soaked and sick? In the end, she woke the whole building. Someone dumped a bucket of dirty water on her, and she finally left in defeat. Hero, I don't believe you've stopped loving me. I won't give up. But in the days that followed, she never came again. Early Saturday morning, I received a photo from Kenji. It looked like a post-coital shot of him and Lena. Hero, the fake marriage between Lena and me turned real. At first, I lied to her and said all I needed was the marriage certificate. Last night, I told her the truth, and not only was she not mad, she even comforted me, told me not to be nervous or scared. You two never slept together, right? She was so clumsy and shy last night. In my arms, she said she felt guilty, felt like she let you down. But since she couldn't bring herself to say it, let me be the bad guy instead. I hope you'll give us your blessing at today's wedding. If you can let her go, Lena won't feel guilty anymore. I locked my phone and pressed a hand to my chest. I really thought I couldn't feel pain anymore. The system was angrier than I was. It growled, "What a pair of scumbags. They finally messed with the wrong one. I'm going to make her die by your hands at the wedding." Even though it was all rushed, Lena still gave Kenji the full royal treatment. The best hotel, the best decorations. The whole venue was a dreamy, romantic spectacle. Akira came too. He usually doesn't care for secondhand gossip. I was seated at a table with Lena's close friends. They all knew me. "Brother-in-law," one of them said. "Lena already told us this marriage with Kenji is fake. You have to promise not to take it seriously, okay? If we let you get hurt, Lena's going to come after us big time." Akira slammed the table and stood up. What the hell is Lena thinking? What does she think Hero is, some kind of criminal who needs to be monitored? I gave a self-deprecating smile and patted Akira's back to calm him down. Then I said to Lena's friends, "Don't worry, I won't cause a scene." But this wedding was doomed to end in chaos. Just then, the music started. I froze. It was a familiar melody. Perfect. The very song I'd said I wanted to use at my wedding with Lena. Now, at this wedding, there was Lena, there was perfect, but there was no me. Kenji walked into the hall in a sharp suit, looking like some fairy tale prince. As he passed me, he lifted the corner of his mouth, as if declaring victory. Lena saw me too, but quickly avoided my gaze, unable to face the ridicule in my eyes, like she felt guilty. I kept my face blank and said nothing. It wasn't until Akira passed me a tissue that I realized everyone at the table was staring at me with concern. I looked down. My hands were clenched so tightly that my fingernails had pierced my palms. Blood was oozing out. Then the couple stood before the officiant and exchanged vows. Kenji said, "I do." Lena said, "I do." At that exact moment, I heard the system's mechanical voice in my head. Mission failed. No sooner had those words dropped, Lena coughed up a mouthful of blood right onto Kenji's face. Then thud, she collapsed. Kenji panicked, screaming, covering his blood-spattered face, totally lost. Guests rushed into chaos. Eventually, someone remembered, "There's a doctor on site." They turned around to look for me, only to find that Akira and I were already gone. I returned to the hospital early. It didn't take long before I saw Lena again. When Kenji found out I was Lena's attending physician, his face darkened, and he firmly demanded a replacement. But he was immediately shouted down by Lena's best friends, who pointed right at his nose. "Shut up. You think just because you wormed your way into this household, you're the man of the house now." Then they turned to me, smiling flatteringly. "Brother-in-law, Lena trusts you more than anyone. You're the one who treated her stomach cancer last time. Please, you have to cure her again. Her life is in your hands." I replied with a grim expression, "No promises." After a full round of tests, the diagnosis was confirmed. Lena's stomach cancer had relapsed. The cancer cells were spreading fast. She had less than 3 months left. "Please prepare the patient and family mentally," I said. Both Lena and Kenji looked completely shocked. Lena cried out, "No way. You're lying to me. You told me after the surgery that I'd recovered really well, that the chances of recurrence were low. How can I suddenly only have 3 months left?" Then a thought struck her. Her eyes lit up, and she grabbed my hand tightly, refusing to let go. "Hero, you're still mad at me, right? You're just trying to scare me, aren't you? Now that the mission's over, I'll divorce him right away and register our marriage. Please don't stay mad at me, okay?" Kenji's expression changed instantly. "No, we can't get divorced." Lena turned sharply. "Why not? Didn't you say once the system's mission was done we could end this?" Kenji gritted his teeth. "Lena, you forgot. You're already my woman." "Shut up," Lena snapped, her face turning pale. She screamed at Kenji, "You're not allowed to say another word." Then she turned back to me, carefully trying to read my face. "Hiro, I cut her off with a cold laugh. Just saving someone and accidentally turned fake into real, right?" Lena's face went completely white, her breathing unsteady. She knew I had a severe emotional cleanliness obsession. There was no way I would ever forgive her. How could I possibly want a woman who'd been soiled? At that thought, Lena's entire body began to tremble. She looked like she was about to fall apart. I remembered the last time she learned she had late-stage stomach cancer. She had looked exactly like this, fragile, shattered, and it tugged at something inside me, even against my will. Luckily, reason stopped me. I stood by the bed, looking down at her reddened eyes from above, expressionless. I said, "Sorry, I have other patients waiting. If you need anything, talk to the nurse." Then I turned and left the room. Behind me came the sound of Lena smashing things. Lena insisted on divorcing Kenji. Cornered, Kenji had no choice but to reveal the truth. Turns out Kenji hadn't succeeded. He'd been lying to Lena all along. Getting the marriage certificate, holding a wedding, even sleeping together, none of that counted. Only when Lena's affection level for him reached 100% would the mission be considered a success. If Lena divorced him, the system would immediately declare mission failure, and he'd die on the spot. "Lena, I'm begging you, please don't divorce me. I really don't want to die." Kenji was kneeling on the floor, clutching the hem of Lena's dress, sobbing like his life depended on it. Lena closed her eyes. "If I had known earlier, I never would have agreed to save you. This was an impossible mission from the start." Kenji countered, "Why is it impossible? Your affection level for me was stuck at 60% for a long time, but lately it's gone up 5%. If you just let me stay by your side, one day you'll fall in love with me for real." Just as Lena's expression started to waver, I pushed open the door and walked in. Lena immediately snapped back to her senses, shoving Kenji away in disgust. She turned to me, trying to show loyalty. "Hiro, I won't betray you. We've had a wedding. You've slept with him. If that's not betrayal, then what is?" Kenji sat on the floor, laughing bitterly, looking completely defeated. Then he turned to me, pride in his eyes. "Don't you agree?" I nodded and handed some medication to Lena. "These should help ease the stomach pain. I knew you still cared about me." Lena reached out, trying to take my hand, but I subtly pulled away. I said lightly, "Doctors are expected to care for their patients. It's professional ethics." Lena froze, then asked, "What about the surgery? When will it be?" I shook my head. "In your condition, surgery is no longer viable. Even chemotherapy would only increase your suffering. Let's go with palliative care. Spend your final days saying goodbye to those you love." Both Lena and Kenji looked stunned. Kenji cursed me as an incompetent doctor and said he'd transfer Lena to the best hospital. But Lena shouted, "No, only Hiro can save me. Last time every doctor said I wouldn't make it, and Hiro still pulled me back from death. He can do it again." She grabbed me like I was her last hope. "Hiro, you're just mad at me, right? You do have a way to save me, don't you?" I sighed and shook my head. "No. Let me be honest with you. From the very beginning, between you and Kenji, only one of you was ever meant to survive." Lena froze. "What do you mean?" I raised an eyebrow. "You really want to know? I'm afraid you'll regret it." Lena frowned. "Just tell me." I sighed. "Well, I've already failed. No point in hiding it anymore. The cost of my mission failure is you." Lena looked at me in disbelief. "How is that possible? If you failed your mission, why should I be the one to die?" I said, "Because you were supposed to die 3 years ago. Back then, you had 0 chance of surviving. But I had a rescue system. When your affection level toward me hit 60%, the surgery had a 90% success rate. When it reached 100%, cancer would never come back and you'd live a long, healthy life. But once the mission fails, your cancer returns immediately and it's untreatable." Lena's pale lips trembled. "Why didn't you tell me earlier?" I couldn't. If you stayed with me only because you were afraid of dying, the mission would never succeed. Lena, only if you loved me wholeheartedly could you be saved." In that instant, Lena's strength drained from her. Cancer had already thinned her out in a matter of days. The despair and collapse in her expression was the same as every terminal patient I'd ever seen. Death is the most primal fear of all. Kenji stood nearby, face dark, whispering, So from the start, I was doomed to fail. But then his eyes lit up. He grabbed Lena's thin shoulders. No. As long as your affection for me reaches 100% before you die, I'll survive. You really think that's possible? Lena gave him a bitter, mocking look. You lied to me so badly. How could I ever love you? Kenji brushed his bangs aside, revealing a deep scar on his forehead. Don't forget, you owe me your life. You can't just abandon me. Lena's eyes narrowed. Love is love. A life debt doesn't buy that. And besides, she sneered, you knew that billboard was going to fall, didn't you? Kenji froze. Then why didn't you expose me? Lena lowered her gaze, but didn't answer. During morning rounds, Lena looked terrible. After finishing her examination, I asked, are you feeling unwell today? Lena stared straight at me. My stomach really hurts. I can't eat anything. Her best friend chimed in from the side. Brother-in-law, Lena hasn't eaten since yesterday. She said when her illness was at its worst 3 years ago, she couldn't eat either. The only thing she could stomach was the porridge you made for her. I turned to the intern behind me. She can't eat. Hook her up to some full nutrition. The intern nodded solemnly. And one more thing. I turned to Lena's friend. Please refer to me as doctor. Your brother-in-law is Kenji. With that, I turned to leave for the next patient room. Lena called out to me, pulled out a divorce certificate from under her pillow. Hero, I divorced him. I paused mid-step. That's a sad thing. Do you still want me? Her eyes brimmed with tears, like an abandoned puppy just hoping her master would turn around and look at her again. But I only walked away, back turned, and left the room without hesitation. I don't take back used goods. Because I refused to perform surgery or chemotherapy for Lena, her friends assumed I was holding a grudge. They took her to other hospitals, even overseas, but the result was always the same. Every doctor said there was nothing that could be done. After circling back and forth, she ended up back in my hands. Lena lay pale and frail in her hospital bed. Hero, I'm sorry. I really regret it. I said. A lot of people only start repenting when they're about to die, but that kind of apology means nothing to the person who was hurt. Her body trembled. Do you still love me? I replied, I only like women who are clean. Lena closed her eyes, a tear slipping from the corner. I'm sorry. That night he drugged me. I wasn't fully conscious. I mistook him for you. I said, then you were too careless. Lena whispered, it was my fault. I should never have agreed to save him. I invited the wolf into the house. I shook my head. No, your mistake was believing him and not believing me. Tears finally spilled down Lena's cheeks. I couldn't tell whether she regretted more or feared death more. Do the surgery for me. If I have to die, I want to die by your hands, Lena said. Hands in the pockets of my white coat, I replied. My schedule's full for the next month. Lena gave a bitter laugh. So you can't even grant me my final wish? I nodded, correct. Lena, after I die, will you go after someone new? Me? Hard to say. It's rare to find a compatible mission target. She paused, then pleaded softly. After I'm gone, could you visit me during Qingming each year? Just once a year, that's all I ask. I shook my head. After you die, the system will erase all memories I have of you. Lena's voice trembled. So I won't even leave a single trace in your life? I said nothing. She understood. Lowering her eyes, she whispered, then at least please accept my final apology. Lena had no family. Kenji was hit by a car and died on the very day they finalized the divorce. She wrote a will leaving her entire estate to me. I personally arranged her funeral. After the mourners left, a light, misty rain began to fall across the horizon. I stood in front of her tombstone and asked the system, how many is this now? The system, the third. I asked, other systems erase the host if the mission fails. Why don't you do the same? Why would I erase you? You've done an excellent job. But I failed again. Maybe I'm just not good enough. The system paused and thought. I think it's a matter of perspective. These targets, you know, the ones you're supposed to win over, they tend to enjoy the feeling of being a savior. To them, loyalty is the least important virtue. I murmured. Then maybe next time we try one with a Yandere tendency. The system, not a bad suggestion. I'll now proceed to erase all your memories of Lena. Erasing in progress. Erasure complete. New target detected. Host, please proceed to the designated location. I returned to the hospital and met the person the system had mentioned, a girl with an innocent, pure-looking face. I flipped open her chart. Her name was written there, Anna. "Doctor, you'll save me, won't you?" she asked softly, eyes full of fragile hope. I closed the chart and smiled.